Can this be a little overwhelming? That's when I was, you're here, you're joining this great group, and like I said before, like representing a championship team. What's it like for you?
Yeah, it's definitely humbling. I kind of look at just the guys we had on our Calder Cup team, and I think there was a lot of players that were better than me, but for whatever reason, I was here probably longer than most of those guys. A lot of them went on, but feel a lot of pride to be back here and just to be part of a championship team and getting to be around a lot of great coaches and great players on that team is probably the most special part.
Coming here from another team, when you were in Syracuse, you come here, you knew what it was like here, but then to join it, what was that like? And now as you look back on all those years?
I actually learned a lot. When I came here, I was just a third year, and going to I played 3 years pro, and I came here, and there was a lot of great veterans here, like Gage and Metcalf and Frawley and those guys, and I was still learning how to be a pro. I watched those guys, how they handle themselves, and how they came to work every day, and even though Torch did make me his captain, I was learning from older guys, and I think it really shaped me and helped me become as good a pro as I could be by learning from other players and coaches, but just being in a culture of winning and of excellence. I thought this was one of the top teams in the American Hockey League at that day, and just to be part of it and hopefully add to it somewhat was special.
When you walked into the rink, you see the banner. Is there one or two things that immediately come to mind and you remember?
Yeah, just Game 7. Winning such a tight game, and just the celebration with guys that you really kind of go to war with. Guys that sacrifice a lot, and we're truly team guys. Because I don't know if a lot of people really remember that we were not a very good team at Christmas time. We had a lot of good players. We were one of the lowest teams in the league actually at that point, but we had some tough meetings in there in that group, and we all kind of got together on board, and just to be part of that team and see when guys put in that much effort and blood, sweat, tears, and toil, and it comes out with the championship is something that I'll never forget. And it was a great part of my life, and really built a lot of who I am today.
Was there a point in that year that you could point that you could earmark that turned it around?
Yeah, specifically right at Christmas time. I think we had lost again, and we just kind of had one of those long, tough, hard meetings where guys speak pretty honestly. That was one of Tort's big things is when you have conflict, people speak honestly and speak from the heart, and we had some of those meetings. We had a bit of a divide from some new guys that had been brought in that year with Torts and some of the old guys that had been around, and I think everybody was wanting to do the right thing. We just didn't know how it was all going to kind of fit together. And once we kind of just put everything aside and kind of said, hey, let's just play as hard as we can for one goal. It was a pretty special group and got some uncommon results.
What did it mean for you to wear the C for this team?
Oh boy, it was a big honor. I think anytime you get nominated captain, it's a pretty big honor, and I think a lot of responsibility goes with it as far as how hard you have to play and how hard you have to practice every day and how you handle yourself on and off the ice, and especially coming here where it's a pretty storied franchise and there's been great players and a lot of guys that have gone on to the NHL and coaches that are great NHL coaches. So I think it adds a lot to it. But again, I was a young captain here and I was learning as I went, and I think it helped shape me and made me better to be around high-level players and guys that were team-oriented guys.
Does being in that role make it easier for what you do now?
I think so. I think because when you're a captain, that's part of your job, I think, is to not just worry about yourself, but worry about making sure your team is prepared. And so I did take that as part of a responsibility to try to make sure our room was ready on a nightly basis. My biggest part, I think, is bringing it yourself. You can't talk about bringing it and not do it yourself. So I think that was a good way I found to prepare myself and hold myself accountable, and hopefully hold. It wasn't just me leading. It was a leadership team, and we had a lot of veteran guys that did play hard all the time. I just think of Metcalf and Frawley and Gagey. Like those guys, they played hard all the time, and it was a culture that I just became a part of. I didn't make it or develop it. It was here already, but I got to be a part of it and hopefully added something to it.
You're going to get to go out there with those fans and address them in this way, and they love that team, and now they get a chance to see you in there. What's it like to connect back with these fans again?
Yeah, that'll be special because just seeing so many familiar faces already tonight. It's amazing how many people are still around from when I was playing. Nice to see Ken Wise back and Gagey and others, but just it'll be a special feeling to kind of go back to that time a little bit and remember Game 7 and people lining up for hours outside to get tickets and the great celebrations after. Just it's really close to my heart, and it's something I will never forget.
Obviously, too, thinking about Sharky and, how much and how close you two were, and just, being here with all those memories must come flooding back.
Yeah, I got to see Wendy and all the kids. Craig was my roommate on the road. I sent him in pretty much that whole year. He came the same year as I did, and we kind of grew up together here a little bit as well. Just a great teammate and a great man. And I still remember when he came in from he had to meet us on the road because Jackson was being born, and he came in and told me his kid's name was Jackson, and it was kind of a neat moment. But he'll never be forgotten. It was great to see his family, and just something I really think tonight I share with Craig, because he was such a big part of my success. I went to the net with the stick on the ice, and he would sauce pass one right on your blade, because heck of a player, but a better man and father and person in the community for sure.
Is there a torch story you could share?
Oh boy, there was a lot of torch stories, but I think the biggest thing is I think what we all learned about him was how much he cared about us. I think some people see Torts in his kind of tough side in those news conferences, but they don't see how much he cares about and how much he wants individuals to be their best and develop for the team. And he was an unbelievable coach, and he was the reason why we won here. But just how much depth to the man, as far as how much he cares about his players and how much he leads by being the first one at the rink and the hardest worker and a guy who cares and will sacrifice more than anybody. So I think those lessons that we all learned from him stick with us for all time.
With all you've done in your hockey career, where does the Hall of Fame honor rank?
Well, it's a pretty nice honor. I don't think anything will be even a little bit of time I get to play in the NHL and scoring goals up there. Number one is still by far and away being part of a team that won a championship, because that's what you always play for every year. You line up to win a championship, and no matter what level you're at, that's your ultimate goal. And just to accomplish that with a lot of great teammates is something that'll always be number one, but this is pretty close behind it.